Unlock your dream property with Meeks Realty Group, where Rich the Realtor makes real estate dreams a reality. Whether it's residential or commercial, we've got Charleston to Huntington covered. Your key to exceptional real estate experiences start here. Meeks Realty Group. Contact us at meeks.us.
The views and opinions expressed on this program do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of 580 WCHS, its employees, or WVRC Media. From the studios of WVRC Media, the country, the United States of America, the state, West Virginia, the city, Charleston. This is the Dave Allen Show on 580 Live. And your host.
What we've got here is failure to communicate.
He's kind of a big deal.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass, and I'm all out of bubblegum.
Dave Allen.
And a good Monday morning to you from the Par-Mar Stores studio. Welcome to the show. Hollywood Jeff Petty is our producer today. Bigly, Piggly Wiggly hotline 304-345-5858. Fruit Pharmacy text 304-935-5008. We do the show from the Par-Mar Stores studio. If there's not a Par-Mar store near you now, there will be soon. Par-Mar, the Written Family Foundation, best price and fair price again, offering the Par-Mar Store scholarships available to any high school senior or undergraduate student from West Virginia, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Maryland, Kentucky, or Virginia who's enrolled in a college, university, trade school, or technical program. Applications and details available at parmarstores.com under the community tab. But you need to remember this, folks. Application deadline is tomorrow. If there's not a Par-Mar store near you now, there will be soon. And the Dave Allen Show on 580 Live is brought to you by Thornhill Auto Group, including Thornhill GM Superstore. We're at Chevy truck season, ready for the truck that can handle any job. You need to get the 2024 Silverado. Get 2.9% APR for 72 months for well-qualified buyers, or a $5,000 total value when you trade an eligible vehicle. Must qualify for all offers through GM Financial. See them for all the details. Thornhill GM Superstore. Together, let's drive. Click or come by ThornhillGMSuperstore.com or on the road to Total Savings US 119 in Chapmanville. Happy Monday. Hope everybody had a great weekend. Time to forget about it, though. Time to get back to work now. Coming up a little bit later on the show, Republican strategist Rob Cornelius is going to be stopping by, as well as local restaurant owner Sandy Call. Now, coming on the heels of the closures of the Chop House and Tidewater Grill last week, we got word late last week that another iconic eatery in Charleston was closing, Bridge Road Bistro. Sandy, of course, is the owner of that establishment. She's going to join us to talk about it. Plus, your calls and texts are welcome, too. I'm going to bring in Republican candidate for Secretary of State Doug Skaff momentarily, but I did want to get something briefly off my chest. Beautiful day Saturday here in the Kanawha Valley. I started the day with our sister station, 987 The Mountain, at the Putnam County Fairgrounds in Illinois before I headed north. That was with the Food Truck Festival, of course, before I headed north for the West Virginia Broadcasters Association's annual awards banquet in Morgantown. Great night for WCHS radio, by the way. I'll talk about that if I have time a little bit later on. But while I was at the Food Truck Festival, my phone started blowing up. The people telling me about some event that was going on in Charleston. Now, it seems a group of nut jobs all packed themselves into a U-Haul. I'm not making this up. They came in U-Hauls, like, a couch or something, and were yelling something nonsensical, blah, blah, blah. They covered their faces, had the American flag upside down, which is a sign of distress, and you get the picture. The whole thing came as quite a surprise, I think, to everyone. As far as I know, no one in the media was alerted about it. And chances are no one would have known about it with the 10,000 other things going on a Saturday morning in the Kanawha Valley, except for the people who just happened to be driving by at that time. So what, white nationalists, supremacists, whatever, what do you do with garbage like that? You simply ignore it, period. You don't broadcast it. You don't film it. You don't give them the satisfaction, because engagement and giving them legitimacy, folks, is what they want. Now, they have every right to gather. You know me. I'm a big First Amendment guy. They have the right to free speech. They have every right to gather. They have the right to protest or whatever the hell they were doing. But don't engage it. Ignore it, which is what I'm doing now. Republican candidate for Secretary of State Doug Skaff. Good morning. Welcome to the show, sir.
Good morning, Dave. Well said, my friend. Well said.
All right. And that's the last you'll hear about that. How's the campaign been so far?
15 days. 9 hours, but who's counting, brother? May 14th is right around the corner. It's a big state. I've got to enjoy a lot of neat places, try a lot of great restaurants, meet fantastic people.
Was there an area of the state that you traveled to that you hadn't been before? Because I know you've been all over the state in your various things you've done in your life. But was there an area of the state maybe that you had not that you'd not been to?
There's always uncovered. I've been to the Eastern Panhandle before, but it's so beautiful over there. Just spending more time with them. I'm going back this week. It's just a whole different part of the state. And Northern Panhandle I've been to numerous times, but just see the growth up there and what they're doing in downtown Wheeling and the redevelopment, and it's neat to see. Visiting Ritchie County, I was in Ritchie County. That was one of the first times I've been in Ritchie County over the weekend. So yeah, a lot of new places.
Now, you've been a successful businessman, owner, president, of course, of HD Media, the folks behind the Gazette, Mail, Huntington Herald, Dispatch, several other publishing interests as well, and a huge online presence.
Logan Banner.
Logan, I'm aware of it. I've heard of it. You're involved in other businesses, so why do you want to be Secretary of State?
Secretary of State, it gets a lot of attention for being the elections office of the state, but really 75% of that office is the chief business office of the state. You literally, to do business in West Virginia, you're the front door for any business, whether you set up your LLC, your S Corp, or whatever, from a registration standpoint. You look at that website, there's a plethora of stuff, for business owners and so much. But when you start a business, I think it takes a business owner to know how to run the business office of the state. I've owned businesses of all sizes. I know how to make a payroll. I know what it's like during tough times, during COVID. I have employees. I have a business with 3 employees, one with 200 employees. It takes a business owner to know what type of office you need. When you're going out there and recruiting businesses to come to West Virginia, they want ease of access. They want transparency. They want consistency. They want to know what it's like. And then what are you going to do for them when they do get established? I think there's so much more. We need a more user-friendly website. We could create an app. Everybody's doing an app on their phone. Yeah. We need to get into the school systems and not only educate our youth about why it's important to get involved in the election process, but if there's not a job here for them, they can go create their own job. They can be entrepreneurs. Talk about putting people together. Give them the tools and resources they need at a younger age so that they'll stay here and they won't just leave the state.
You are a longtime Democrat, switched parties.
Yes.
What do you say to people who may question your motives in the party switch? Because let's face it, a person is free to switch parties anytime they want, as long as, of course, it falls within the proper guidelines before the election. And a lot of people in West Virginia, I talked about it last week, Doug, a lot of people have switched recently from Democrat to Republican, as you did. Some longtime Republicans seem to be pushing back. They use terms, not just about you, but others as well, as rhino and things of that nature. How would you address that?
I say this all the time. I won my first election as a Republican in 2004. A lot of people don't know that. I ran for House of Delegates as a recent college graduate in Mon County, back before there was hardly any delegates that were Republicans. I won my first election. And then I took my first job. I moved to state. I didn't get a chance to actually serve. But I won my first election. I was recruited, it's kind of funny, by then chairman of the party, Chris Warner. So he recruited me back then. And even just recently, last October, he welcomed me back to the Republican Party. He actually recruited me and said, hey, you should think about running for Congress. You should run for this. Through the years, in 2013, I was recruited by the Republican Party to run for Congress when they had Evan Jenkins, former Democrat, switch parties. I was recruited to run at the vacated seat by Shelley Capito when she ran for U.S. Senate. I was recruited by the Republican Party then. 2014, Bill Cole recruited me to run for state Senate. 2016, recruited again. And so now I actually do switch. I was recruited to run for Secretary of State this time because of my experiences and because of my conservative values and because a person was registered one way or the other, you should get to know that person. That's what really upsets me. A lot of this outcry and all this stuff. You're right. I do have some bad votes out there. At 22,332 votes cast, you're going to find some. I don't agree with them. I think the bottom line is that people can change. As you get more information, not only do you change your party affiliation, when that party leaves you, maybe your votes change, maybe how you feel on things. I'll give you an example. There's a lot of fuss made about same-day voter registration. Did I support a bill back in 2021 for same-day voter registration? I did. A lot of people made that known. But guess why? What else happened in 2021? That was COVID. We did a lot of things differently that year. The Mac Warner, Secretary of State, he sent out absentee ballots willy-nilly to everybody, no questions asked that year. I'm pretty sure he doesn't agree with that now. I don't agree with same-day voter registration, but I did back then because I thought that's what we needed to do when everything was changed during COVID. I don't agree with drop boxes, never did. I think the voter ID law is on the books. It should stay, and we could even strengthen it if you want to. I'm all about not sending out absentee ballots without proper documentation and making sure. I think we need to partner with Marshall University to make our elections safe and secure with their new cybersecurity school. Let's partner with them. Let's stay on the forefront. That is the most important thing we can do is secure our elections, keep illegals out of our state from working, keep illegals out of our state from voting.
What did you learn, Doug, in your time in the legislature and, for that matter, in the business world that you think will serve you well as Secretary of State?
So as Secretary of State, it's a different office. It's not just running for a political office, I mean, there's a lot, treasurer and auditor and all that stuff, the experiences. You have to be an effective communicator, Secretary of State. You are the chief, the rah-rah for elections, the rah-rah for businesses. You got to be able to go into the schools. It's hard to teach an old dog new tricks. And said, how do we increase voter participation rate? You know what I would do? I would go into the schools and start with those 18-year-olds that are recently eligible to vote and talk about the importance of getting involved in the process, the importance of staying in West Virginia and going to school and getting a job here and working. You need to be an effective communicator, a good leader, and be able to work with everybody. I'm pretty sure when you go out and do these voter drives, you just want people to register to vote. Okay? That's what a good Secretary of State should do. Be able to be like a referee, work with everybody, Democrats, Republicans, unaffiliated, whatever it takes to make sure the county clerks have the tools and resources they need. Shouldn't matter if it's a Democratic clerk or a Republican clerk. You give them the adequate tools and resources they need. Business office of the state. I'm pretty sure on that business application, as you know, you work with a lot of businesses. It doesn't say, are you a Democrat-owned business or a Republican-owned business? We got to treat everybody the same in the state of West Virginia. Open and welcoming the businesses. I just want jobs. I want to put more money back in people's pockets. That's not partisan. What can we do to help West Virginians be more successful? I'm sick and tired. You know what I want to do as Secretary of State? I want to clean up all this rhetoric and all this crap that you see out here.
But can you do that as Secretary of State?
I think you can. You can work with the legislature and you can clean up. You have to, the PACs, the gray money, the dark money in the PACs, all this negative attacks you see on me, it comes from a PAC. I hate that. People, if you want to go and attack me, put your name on it. Tell me where it's coming from. Don't hide behind a PAC. I hate that. That happened federally. But locally, yes, we can make some restrictions here locally. We can try. It won't pass, but we can try, and we can make a fuss about it. But yes, I just think it's awful. If I'm going to attack my opponent, I want you to know it's coming from me, Doug Skaff, and here's why. I'm not going to hide behind something. I hate the negative politics. I don't know how many mailers you got last Wednesday, but I got 8 mailers in my mailbox. And
everyone went in the trash.
Went in the trash. Tell me what you're going to do. This is what I want as Secretary of State. Tell me what you're going to do, whether you vote for Doug Skaff or not. And if it's a requirement that you have to be a lifelong Republican, then just stop listening to me now. But I'm pretty sure I'm not the first and I won't be the last. Like Donald Trump, he switched his party affiliation. We've embraced him here. Like Jim Justice, 74% popularity. We've embraced him. 5 current sitting state senators, former Democrats. 1/4 of the delegation in the House of Delegates, former Democrats. Hundreds and hundreds of city and county officials across West Virginia. But I get to be the one that they want to single out this year. So, hey, I can take it. I'm a big boy. I get it. Like I said, I've cast a lot of votes, but that's the beauty. I've been elected by the people 6 times. After all those votes were cast, I continue to be reelected because they know me. That's what politics, we lost that. You got to get to know the person. And as Secretary of State, I want the most user-friendly app where you can really engage and interact and know your candidates. Get to know them. Just more than a Facebook page. Really get to know them and interact with them. That's what I encourage all these. Put those mailers aside. Put all that garbage you see. Just put it right in the garbage where they belong. But the bottom line is get to know the person you vote for. Yes. Are there votes that I wish I could take back? But what about the other candidates? I'm not going to mention their names, but other people I'm running against, they have a track record.
Come on.
I'll mention Chris Warner's name right now. He called me out on this show. His track record as the chief business officer, state, I think you should really look into it. I would not put somebody who has numerous bankruptcies on his belt, somebody who has committed almost election fraud when he's running the state party into the ground. He had to sell the state party headquarters. Here's something nobody knows. He sold the state party headquarters building in 2004 because the party was in such disarray. Guess who bailed the Republican Party out then? Who bought that building? Doug Skaff Sr. My dad bought the building to help the Republican Party out. So those people that want to question my values and my family's values, we're here. We're not changing. But you got to look into the people. You want to look and criticize me. That guy was very critical of me on this radio show talking about you got to know the person. Get to know him. Get to know how much back taxes he owes. How many liens are out there on him. Is his wages still garnished because of all the money that he owes this state? We cannot afford to put a person like that. There's some great people running. Brian Wood, fantastic person. He was a great county clerk. He's done a phenomenal job. He might have a little short on the business side, but he's probably the most qualified when it comes to running in elections. Ken Reed, stand-up guy, small business owner. There's other choices. So if you don't want to vote for Doug Skaff, that's fine. But I would not vote for Chris Warner.
The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, brought to you by General Hardware of Winfield and Milton and General Lumber of Winfield. If you're planning a project this spring, please shop locally. Stop by any of their locations for details. Visit General Hardware, WV.com. Well, this is going to be my next question as we close. I was going to say you're running against Chris Warner, former Republican State Party Chair and brother of Mac Warner, Putnam County Clerk Brian Wood. You mentioned Ken Reed, former legislature. What makes you the better candidate, Mr. Skaff?
I'm real. I'm a real West Virginian. I don't stand behind it. I've made mistakes. I'm not perfect. I'm just like you. I want to take care of my kids. I got 3 small boys, 7, 6, and 5. I want them to grow up here and chase the West Virginia dream. Get to know the person. I care about this community and state. I don't need a job. I'm not running like Chris Warner because I need a job. He's been appointed and paid for and bought and paid for by the taxpayers of West Virginia to pay his debts for the last 8 years. I don't need a job. Neither does Ken or neither does Brian. They have great jobs. I'm doing this because I love the people of the state. I think we can do better. I think we can make the office more user-friendly. We can put the tools and resources there to help business owners of all types and sizes. And we got to be more proactive on the palm of your hand. Put all the resources there on the palm of your hand. God bless what they do right now. God bless the county clerks. Give them more funding. Go up there and fight the legislators and get some of that taxpayer. We spent over $300 million and gave to out-of-state corporations. You know what I did as a Democrat? Stood up and offered an amendment to give the money back to the taxpayers first. Give it to those small business owners. That's what we have to do. As your Secretary of State, I will do everything in my power to put West Virginians first, West Virginia businesses first, and keep illegals out of our state from voting and working.
Now, now, I'm going to push back a little bit on it. You cannot, as Secretary of State, do anything about it illegal. Let me ask you, what are you going to do?
I'll tell you specifically what I'm going to do.
Tell me what you're going to do.
I'm going to create a verification source on that website right now. So you, Mr. Homeowner, goes in there and getting ready to put a roof on your house. You can check on the palm of your hand if that's a legitimate business in West Virginia, if they employ U.S. citizens,
right.
If they employ West Virginians, if they pay their taxes. That is one little thing we can do we don't do now. If my little old lady, my grandmother's there, wants to know, hey, Doug, should I go and give $2,000 deposit to this company right here? They could check right there in the palm of their hand on their phone if this is a legit business that pays their taxes and does things right. That's one thing you do to keep illegals out of West Virginia. Second thing is, go to your phone when it comes to app. You should be able to update your voter registration, check your app, check and make sure these people are legit right from the palm of your hand. When you're out there campaigning, I went to over 3,542 doors this campaign cycle. That's a lot. Mm-hmm. I got to know the people. You know what they said? Hey, clean up those voter rolls regularly, keep illegals out of voting in this process, and make sure our elections are safe. I can't control that.
Okay. All right.
There is little things you can do. I mean, yeah. I'll give you one more example.
All right.
People ask. I'll give you last time.
All right.
Last time. When it comes to the business office of the state.
Yeah.
The bottom line is this: we need not take things for granted. But in the legislature up there, they're just giving out taxpayers' money to out-of-state corporations that are not vested here. What about the small business owners who are the backbone of the state? Create a SOSB fund. Save our small business fund. So when people like Sandy Call and the Bridge Road Bistro want to raise their hand and say, hey, what can we do to help you stay open? There should be a fund there, a local fund that we could help them put investors together to save our West Virginia businesses.
Always a pleasure to have you on the show.
Thank you, sir.
You got a website, Facebook? What you got
DougSkaff.com. Make it as easy as possible. Doug Skaff, SKAFF.com. I'm excited, full of energy. I was
going to say, I knew when you came in the door drinking a Monster Energy drink that I was in for it. And then I got Cornelius after you, which is...
So, I don't think... Hey, listen, I've lost 35 pounds on this campaign trail. I've covered a lot of steps. I like to meet the people. That's the best. Win or lose, I got a chance to visit some great places and meet some wonderful people.
All right, Doug, we got to leave it there. I appreciate it, man. Thanks a lot. 925 a Dave Allen Show on 580 Live. Brought to you in part by Huston's Pizza. Get a large 18-inch pepperoni pizza, large tossed salad, only $20.99 at your favorite Huston's location. Back after this with Rob Cornelius on the Voice of Charleston, WCHS.
Brought to you by the Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses. Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses want to thank you for supporting local small businesses.
Our children and families deserve leaders on the Kanawha County Board of Education, and Kate White is a leader that our families can trust. Kate White fights for safer schools for our kids and the best education for our children and teachers in Kanawha County. Kate White is a wife, a mother, and a leader in our community. Kate White understands our families and will deliver a world-class education for all of us. Let's vote for better education and a brighter future in Kanawha County. Let's vote for Kate White for Kanawha County Board of Education. Paid for by the committee to elect Kate White for school board.
We all know how expensive a post-high school education can be. Parmar Stores would like to help. Parmar Stores, the Ritten Family Foundation, Best Price and Fair Price are again sponsoring the Parmar Stores Scholarship. Scholarships are available to any high school senior or undergraduate student from Ohio, West Virginia, Kentucky, Maryland, Virginia, or Pennsylvania enrolled in any college, university, trade school, or technical program. Applications are available at parmarstores.com under the Community tab. Deadline to enter April 30th. If there's not a Parmar store near you now, there will be soon.
Hi, this is Dr. Casey Sachs. I worked in the Trump administration at the U.S. Department of Education, and now I'm dedicated to ensuring every child in Kanawha County receives a quality education. Vote for Dr. Casey Sachs for school board on May 14th, paid for by the committee to elect Casey Sachs.
The Husson's Pizza April Special. Get a largest large 18-inch pepperoni pizza and a large tossed salad for just $20.99. Visit your nearest Husson's for dine-in pickup or delivery. Order now at hussonspizza.com.
We are professional grade. If you're up for the challenge, then you need to visit Thornhill GM Superstore on the Thornhill Motor Mile and get treated like a pro with the best deals on new GMC Sierra trucks and the new 2024 GMC Terrain. Go pro, but don't prolong. Qualified buyers can enjoy 3.9% for 60 months or an additional purchase allowance of up to $2,250 and no payments for 90 days. Get on the move. Go pro with Thornhill GM Superstore on the Thornhill Motor Mile, US 119 Chapmanville, and ThornhillGMSuperstore.com. After GM Financial, visit Thornhill for all details.
927 in the heart of West Virginia, there exists a profound force that goes beyond the realm of sports, transcending limitations, fostering a sense of belonging. Special Olympics, a remarkable initiative showcase of the latest episode of West Virginia Enriched in collaboration with Huntington, stands as a testament to the power of determination, unity, and unwavering support. See a video highlighting the Special Olympics at facebook.com/580 WCHS. Biggly Piggly Wiggly hotline 304-345-5858. Fruit Pharmacy text 304-935-5008. The Dave Allen Show and 580 Live brought to you in part by your hometown baseball team, the Charleston Dirty Birds. Great opening weekend at Gomart Ballpark. The Birds are off tonight before hitting the road tomorrow night for a 3-game series at High Point. Dirty Birds back at Gomart Ballpark Friday night to begin a weekend homestand against Gastonia. Ticket schedules, Dirty Birds merch, and more available at dirtybirdsbaseball.com. As you may imagine, before we get to Rob Cornelius, I got some text to get through. Your text says, did Doug Skaff take COVID funds for his businesses? If so, were those loans forgiven? What are Skaff's takes on student loan forgiveness? Text said it's nonpartisan. Why did he jump ship on his brother Democrats? Text says, why did Skaff let the Dems appoint a seat before he changed? Who would Skaff like to fill his old seat now? Would there be something the SOS does about squatters if he starts in West Virginia? Those morons in the white nationalist group are an embarrassment to the white race. Now I can't wear a navy blue t-shirt with khaki pants or shorts without thinking that other folks may come in support of those morons. Voting for Donald Trump, says the texter, MAGA candidates is supporting those white nationalist morons. Will Skaff set up legal punishment for businesses who hire illegals and enforce the punishments? Text says, I don't want to hear about the border. I want to hear about the jobs Biden is bringing to the state and how you're going to keep it going. State just got $2 billion to put high-speed internet to the entire state infrastructure bill and stop the war on women, says a texter. All right. Doug Skaff is not accepted by the West Virginia GOP. He's a long-standing Democrat caucus leader, not a true Republican, says the texter. Talk line, Dave Wilson for Hoppy coming up at 10:06. Senator Shelley Moore Capito on the show. Stephen Allen Adams from Ogden Newspapers. Joe Mercado talking a little sports and more. Rob Cornelius is here. Hey, buddy. How are you?
Good. Been fighting a voice thing like for the last 6 weeks since I saw you. You sound terrible.
You and everybody else, man.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. Is this super long COVID? Or am I just imagining
I think it's super long pollen is what it is, Rob.
Oh, okay. Now I had to wash the car.
All right. So early voting begins Wednesday. Primary election, of course, Tuesday, May 14th. Are you excited for it or excited to be over? You're a political junkie.
I'm excited to vote. I'm excited to get my vote in. And I'm excited once I do it to go about and work for some of the candidates who I support or want me to support them and vice versa. No, there's a lot going on. What you're sitting in, this is going to be maybe the most expensive week of TV advertising in the state of West Virginia political history. We're very close. This is going to be, if you're a political spectator, this is beyond the Super Bowl. This is Super Bowl 50. There's going to be holograms of all these dead Hall of Famers. This is the week and next week. This is the time, man.
Can we get a little of that dripped on the radio end of it, too?
You're getting some, I think. Although I don't know if they're network buys or local buys, but everybody's buying.
We'll take what we can get.
Am I getting preempted right now?
No, actually.
Some preempts.
No. This was a text from the other side of the booth. It says, tell Rob I said, nice Trackhouse shirt, of course, off the air. I didn't do it off the air.
No, Dan Suarez is having a terrible year other than his fluke win at Atlanta, but that was nice for him, and he gets to keep his job, at least for now.
That's from my producer, Jeff.
Oh, no, I see him. I'm just not turning my head. I know what he's talking about. I know what he's about.
All right, so last week, Governor Justice officially endorsed former Delegate More Capito for the Republican nomination for governor. Did that surprise you at all, and does it move the needle in the race? Because I saw another poll that says now that More Capito's ahead of Morrissey.
Yeah, there's a lot of fake polls out there right now. You knew Justice was going to endorse, but what was funny is the day before he had refused to in a fairly public press conference, and the day before that he had asked the auto dealers to raise money for him, and they did, saying he probably wouldn't endorse anybody, because they're all Chris Miller's buddies. And then he comes through for Shelley on the final day of that. What good is an endorsement? I don't know. His endorsement didn't say Dave McKinley. Dave McKinley got stomped like a narc at a biker rally. So I don't think
there's
it
a
means
reference
much.
of the day right there.
Well, that's a Dennis Miller joke from 1987. I'm just stealing.
Yeah, that's all right. That's all right.
fine.
All right. So I'm hearing now it could be a two-man race. I mean, with all due respect to Mac Warner and to Chris Miller, I was talking to folks over the weekend. Early voting's not even started yet. Who knows what's going to happen? But I'm hearing it's coming down, starting to look like at this point it could be a two-man race between Morrissey and Capito.
Well, yeah, Mac's never been a serious candidate, never raised any money. Chris, his performance of these ads was, I didn't expect this. But I kind of did. You've run 8, 9, 10 messages. You don't stick with one. You're all over the map. You didn't develop a lot of your own positives. And I have never seen women more repulsed by a campaign than this one. That's what shocked me about how this came down. I thought Chris Miller is a really good-looking guy, would do pretty well, but women do not like this. I don't know whether they don't like him. They don't like the issues they've gone with. They think it's too shrill.
Now, what are you basing this on? You're saying the women?
I'm seeing polling. I'm seeing anecdotal things. Women do not enjoy this. And the thing
women don't enjoy what?
The Chris Miller ads.
There's actually polling that says women don't enjoy
him and don't enjoy these ads. That's tough because I thought he would do well because he's frankly a good-looking guy. Again, you and I are not cross-fitting daily. Yeah.
Because that's what women. That's how they choose their candidates and whether they're good-looking.
A lot of them do. A lot of people don't take this as super seriously and get offended about getting direct mail like you do. Most people
I do get offended by getting direct mail.
How does this person make me feel? How does this person make me feel? That's why I would never
you're
run.
Seriously telling
how do
me,
I make people
you're
feel?
You're seriously telling me, Cornelius, that's how you think that women choose their candidates.
You put them in a focus group, you sit on the other side of a double mirrored glass, and you watch them talk about it. And so they're not going to say I like his politics. They're going to say I like his abs. Not necessarily his abs. I think he's a little better up top, more of a V shape. But what I'm saying is the bigger picture is people vote on things that are a whole lot more surface than you want to admit. I always tell candidates, when you make your ad, I'm going to watch it the first time with no audio, just so I can see how I feel about you. Because most people aren't paying attention to TV that closely. They're not going to read the paragraph you put on screen. Do they like the way you look? Do they like the way you sound, maybe? That's all this is. It's a popularity contest.
I'll give you that.
It's student government. It's only at the very top of the ticket, senator, governor, that we might even talk about an issue you care about or don't care about. Everyone else, I hope I like the way you look on first glance or the first thing you say. That's it.
Speaking of which, I don't quite understand this. Maybe this is what the polling says. You can explain it to me. You're the expert here. What is with the Republican gubernatorial candidates and their obsession with the trans stuff? It's a little weird to me.
Yeah, Miller went that way first. That's, I think, a lot of the problem. And that's what started this trash fire.
But simply because the polls, most of them have shown that the economy is what people want to talk about. And what percentage of people are trans to begin with in West Virginia? And why the hell are we so upset about this stuff?
It's a shiny thing.
See what you do to me, man? You get me all pumped up.
See, I'm all calm. It's a shiny thing.
I'm just asking.
It's virtue signaling. Everyone pretty much agrees it's running on this ticket. Yeah, don't kill babies. Yeah, guns are cool. Carry more. Yeah, we probably shouldn't be sterilizing our kids.
Which we're not. But
whatever. You get the idea. Again, what are the big macro things here? That is an issue that is super hot to 4 or 5% of people. Now, it's one of the hottest issues on the board, but it's 4 or 5%. It's not 50 or 60, which is where almost regardless of season, jobs, economy, and this cycle inflation all combined, that's going to be more than half your people. And if you're not serious or not believable on that, it doesn't matter how many times you blame someone for not being gunny enough or for liking the trans stuff too much. But that's the thing. Don't choose a micro issue. Choose a macro issue. Establish your own bona fides, and then go after people on micro issues to disqualify them. Mm-hmm. This was done in the wrong order, and now everyone's had to talk about transing.
Mm-hmm. Or Trump. Who loves Trump more?
Well, I mean, there are 3 candidates talk about Trump. There's one that doesn't.
Mm-hmm. No, as far as I know, all 4 talk about Trump.
I mean, you saw the last forum, the one that Channel 13 did. I mean, More Capito never actually said he would vote for Trump.
I have to go back and watch that again.
Yeah, it's a very subtle point, but that's the issue. And the people that run his campaign are anti-Trump.
Yay, More Capito, then.
Well, there you go. That's your guy.
I don't have a guy in
Ring
the
it.
race. I don't have
Yeah.
a guy in the race.
Well,
All
you
right.
can't. You're neutral. Absolutely.
No, I try as best. All right. So what's on your mind? You said you got with me last week. You said I got something I want to talk about. So go ahead. I didn't come here. You didn't come here for us to fight. So
Well,
go
no,
ahead.
we never fight.
No.
I had some good ideas last week. Thought some news elements were going to drop that frankly haven't. We're getting short on time. I mean,
All right, go ahead.
2 weeks this thing, period. In terms of what's happening, I mean, Skaff was just in here. He's talking about Warner. I think he hit him pretty hard. Warner's had a lot of problems. Warner's a guy that owes millions to creditors. Warner's a guy that has, a lot of garnishments and problems. And in terms of the Republican Party, I'm not a huge fan of anyone who's running. But he's the guy who I think has probably disqualified himself the most.
From the
period.
Secretary of State's race.
Yeah, you've got
the views and opinions do not necessarily reflect those. Go ahead.
No, and they certainly don't. But he is the person that is probably the most dangerous. He's a needs a job guy, and as a family, they're needs a job guys. And if they're not employed by the public sector, there's nothing there for them. And I mean, for Warner, you can say he's turned his life around after bankrupting the Republican Party and all the things he's done that were negative over the last 20 years. But, as recently as last summer, the guy was bouncing his property tax check. Period. He's a bad dude. I've been around him for 20 plus years.
The
and he's the one person
the
that's
views and
disqualified
opinions do
himself.
not necessarily got to make the lawyers happy.
Absolutely,
They do not
please do.
necessarily reflect
I'm good
the
at that.
opinions. Okay, all right. So
Yeah.
what else you got?
No, I mean, I think there's a couple of things. I think there's a story brimming. I think there's going to be something coming in one of these judicial races here in the county that's pretty sizable, but hasn't dropped yet. And the kind of the boner of the week I saw is new ad out in the governor's race yesterday. Senator Capito endorsing her son, which is great. Fine, do that. But in the ad, they've got the great senator from West Virginia, got her name misspelled in the ad. It's misspelled in the disclaimer. It's now the second time that campaign has basically lifted something out there that it's kind of embarrassing like that. Can't get the job done.
Tex says, come on, Moore endorsed Trump. So did Senator Capito.
No, he didn't. He did not say he would vote for Trump in the debate.
All right. Well, if Moore Capito wants to go on this show and say that, then if he wants
That'd be
to come
good.
on, he can.
That'd be good. That would kind of equalize some things.
Yes. All right. So what else is going on? I mean, I know you've always got something. Drop something else on us.
Okay. What do we got here? We hit the Warner thing. There's not a whole lot. There's not a whole lot else. I think there's not a lot of things that are unpredictable here in these races, with the exception of the governor's race. I think everything else is pretty much a done deal. Mooney's going to close it up some with the governor, but that's a very, very distant, very, very tough lift. There's really not a whole lot here that's moving. I don't think there's a lot of upsets coming, state Senate, state House, anything like that. But no, I think we're all just kind of here sitting watching as spectators on this governor's race.
Tex says you need to clarify which Warner you're talking about. Remember, there are two Warners running.
Well, Chris and Mac have both been getting their wages garnished from the state, so they're the same. So was Monty, but that was from one of his jobs out of state.
The views and opinions on this show do not necessarily reflect those of the staff and advertisers. Excuse me, says the text. I'm a 50-year-old woman and actually paid attention to the insanity that's been happening in this country over the past 4 years or so. I admit I don't like Miller's auto ads, but his issues-based ads are a different story. By the way, I do not find him attractive at all. Sorry. I want the person who will defend the Constitution and refuses to cave to anyone that tries to intimidate West Virginia to conform to Marxist policies. It's that simple, says the 50-year-old woman texter.
Well, yeah, no, I mean, she wants to put the socialists against the wall and do away. That's fine. I think a lot of folks agree with that. Candidate agnostic.
Okay. All right. We're going to leave it there. Thanks, man.
Well, I told you I'd come by. I don't know if you want me to start a fire or not.
Well,
I like a good trash fire, too.
2
weeks the election, man.
You roll through here, and then you rouse everybody up, and then I got to deal with it. It's kind of like the parent giving the kid Mountain Dew and Hershey bars, and I come in and go, okay, now it's time to go to bed.
I've got a whole thing of Diet Mountain Dew Red at the condo. I'm going to go drink some right now.
All right, you need to go off a little easy on that. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, brought to you part by Fresh Air. They'll change those heating and cooling unit air filters for your home, your retail or industrial business, restaurant, church, or whatever. They can build custom filters for you. 24-hour emergency service available. Visit freshairfilters.us or call 304-440-1104 for Fresh Air, because everyone deserves fresh air. Back after this on the Voice of Charleston, WCHS.
Are you looking for a technical job in the medical field? Generations is growing and looking to add on job-trained physical therapy techs to our rehab team. To apply, visit one of our 7 convenient locations or simply click on us at generationspt.com.
Recently, a new client called me and started by saying, "Mr. Morgan, I really need your help, but I'm just a nobody." Those words stunned me, and I immediately called him back, and we're now helping him and his family after a terrible accident. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan, Everybody who comes to our firm at their time of need is a somebody. I grew up poor, but my grandmother was like a queen to us. At Morgan & Morgan, our goal is to level the playing field for you and your family at your time of need. The insurance company has unlimited money and resources. You need a firm who can fight them toe-to-toe. For right at 30 years, we have fought them in courtrooms throughout America. Our results speak for themselves. And always remember this: everybody is a somebody, and nobody is a nobody. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.
Office 222 Capitol Street, Charleston. Cases will be handled by West Virginia licensed attorneys. The attorney in this ad is not licensed in West Virginia. ForThePeople.com.
We are professional grade. If you're up for the challenge, then you need to visit Thornhill GM Superstore on the Thornhill Motor Mile and get treated like a pro with the best deals on new GMC Sierra trucks and the new 2024 GMC Terrain. Go pro, but don't prolong. Qualified buyers can enjoy 3.9% for 60 months or an additional purchase allowance of up to $2,250 and no payments for 90 days. Get on the move. Go pro with Thornhill GM Superstore on the Thornhill Motor Mile, US 119 Chapmanville, and ThornhillGMSuperstore.com. Author GM Financial. Visit Thornhill for all details.
Hi, I'm David McCormick, owner of Omega Commercial Interiors. We'd like to thank you, West Virginia, for making us the #1 office furniture and commercial interiors company in West Virginia. Remember, when you're looking for quality office furniture and space planning for healthcare, corporate offices, or even a private office, call us and buy local. Omega Commercial Interiors. We're a proud West Virginia company. Visit us online at OmegaCommercialInteriors.com in Morgantown and Charleston.
If you haven't done so already, make sure you download the all-new Metro News TV app. Great way to enjoy your favorite Metro News programs, Talkline, Sportsline, Three Guys, and more. Metro News TV app for your Apple TV, iOS, Android, Roku, Amazon, and more. Metro News for your ears and eyes with the Metro News TV app. Text says, I was a toss-up, but Justice endorsement of Capito moved my vote to Mooney for sure. Text says Republicans are going after the trans people because Republicans need a boogeyman to campaign against. They don't have policies, so fear is their tool. Text says, you're telling me the CIA election conspiracy theorist and lead paint chimp aficionado Mac Warner isn't a serious candidate? Almost fooled me, says a texter. Texter says, with more federal money for high-speed internet, maybe Shelley Capito's internet program, Capito Connect, will finally connect people to the internet after 17 years in existence. Text says the Israel Jewish hate groups on the campuses and the hate group Saturday in Charleston have a few things in common. They're radical fools, and they all wear little masks on their face. They are cowards. Text says Doug Skaff sent out a text to thousands of voters that included an erroneous date for voting. If he can't send out an accurate text with accurate election dates, why should we trust him with a real election? Text says Brian Wood for SOS, a candidate with absolute proven integrity who has run an election office for 20 years. Text says Cornelius is being paid by Black Bear Pack, as you know. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live brought to you part by Bridge Valley. If you're interested in improving your company's IT workforce, you want to know Bridge Valley offers custom-tailored IT training to bridge the skills gap. At Bridge Valley, you can train for little or no cost with the 50-50 salary match. Bridge Valley can also supply skilled graduates and apprenticeships for your company. Visit bridgevalley.edu/apprenticeship for more information. All right, so the news came out late last week that yet another iconic business in Charleston, Bridge Road Bistro, would be closing their doors. Lots of speculation as to why, and of course it follows a surprise announcement last week, unrelated, that both the Chop House and Tidewater are closing as well. Lots of speculation. The person who should know is Sandy Call, the owner, and she joins us now. Sandy, good morning. Welcome to the show.
Oh, good morning. Thanks so much for having me today.
You're a calming force after having Doug Skaff and Rob Cornelius in here, just so you know. Just so you know.
Thank you so much.
Now, got your husband here with you. He may not think you're a calming force, but trust me, you are a calming force.
Thank you. They're both great guys.
Before we get to the closure of your place, talk about the history of Bridge Road Bistro.
Indeed. We opened in 2004. The history is with Robert Wong. He was the first. Well, he was the youngest executive chef at the Greenbrier through the 90s. He actually was working when the Secret of the Bunker came out. So he was always in charge of going in and stocking it every week and making sure there's fresh product. But he came to Charleston after he did a few stints. I believe he ran a couple other resorts at Glade Springs. He had Rimfire up at Snowshoe. He had other other venues as well. We started doing a venue up in Morgantown right when I came on board with him in 2010. But the history is him coming to Charleston, opening that up in 2004. I came along around 2010, had a marvelous about a year and a half with him before we lost him, when he was playing tennis on the tennis courts. But we've had a long run here in Charleston. We've been serving up dinners. We did lunch up until 2020. Of course, the shutdown caused us to shut down for lunch, but COVID caused a lot of different things. But we've been around for 20 years, serving up dinner, farm to table, supporting local farmers, going on these farms and serving great weddings and all the things.
So the $1 million question is, Sandy, why the decision to close?
I think it's a culmination of things. Mainly, I'm tired. I'm very tired. I've been doing this since I was 16, so it's almost been 40 years of being in the hospitality industry for me alone. So that's a big priority for me. And I just recently got married within the last 2 years, and I enjoy being a wife. I'm going to enjoy being a godmother. I feel like I'm absent a lot in my life. And if you want to be successful in the restaurant industry, you're going to allow it to consume you. And that's what I've done. It's a 24/7 career.
And I'm sure, Sandy, it was not an easy decision.
Not at all.
For you to make.
Not at all. I love doing what I do. I love providing incomes for folks. I love providing a great ambiance and a great place for everyone to go and make memories. But there's a time and a place in your life where you got to care for yourself once, and that's what this is. I'm caring for myself.
So you're closing effective Saturday?
Yep. May the 4th be with you. I'm closing on Saturday.
Anything special planned for the last night?
We got Brian Diller on stage. I've got a lot of prom students coming in. We've got some graduations coming in that I'm going to do some graduation parties with some folks. Our own little Sean Meyer, it's his birthday that day, so we got him coming in. So
you talking about our Sean Meyer?
Your Sean Meyer, yes.
Our sales weasel extraordinaire.
Indeed. He's amazing. He's helped me out for over 5 years. He helped me through the pandemic. He let me bring my little goddaughter in here and make little commercials, thanking the public for their support.
I remember that.
So it's been a great, good run.
Now, you didn't own the building, is that right?
No, I do not own the building.
Okay.
It's been...
So what's going to happen to any idea, or at this point do you care? I mean,
I know, right? Actually, the landlords do not want it to be another eatery or a restaurant. Okay. So I'm going to auction off and liquidate all the assets that I have inside the building. I have quite a few walk-in coolers, walk-in freezers, all kinds of things, plates, glasses, silverware. I have all kinds of stock on hand that I need to kind of get off.
Is there a possibility that maybe we might see another location for you at some point? Just asking.
I think that's kind of up in the air right now. I will tell you, it's a very physical, demanding job.
Sure. And the last few years have not been easy, and you and I have talked about this too. And I'm not going to have this segment be political at all.
Yeah.
But it is what it is.
Yeah.
It's very difficult to find people to work.
It is.
For one reason or another, and you can discuss all the reasons why. But the bottom line is, a lot of restaurants, a lot of retail establishments simply cannot find people that want to work.
We can't. And that's I think my number one problem. I can't find good qualified people to work. And, Dave, once I do find those people to work, I've got to go to their homes, pick them up, bring them to work alongside with them, take them home.
Because they don't drive.
Indeed. They don't
a lot of them.
There's a lot of them. They don't have transportation. Right. They don't have a license. They've had DUIs or driving on revokes. And childcare. There's no child care for these folks, so they bring their children to work. And if I don't allow them to bring their children to work, then I don't have them on staff. So there's a lot of different things that the climate has changed here in the restaurant business all across the United States. It's not just me.
What about your employees? I mean,
they
because
all have jobs.
I was going to say, I saw that posted somewhere that they've all had jobs.
I have a wonderful history in the area where I've been in the industry with either Anheuser-Busch or Red Bull North America, Outback Steakhouse, O'Charlie's. I have different walks of life that I've walked in that have paid off now, because now I can call Angela down at Angela's on the River. Hey, I've got a few folks that need a job. Hey, Donnie down at the cafe. I've got folks that need a job. Adelphia, Tracy's great over at Soho. Everyone's been so welcoming and open arms for my staff to come on board with them. So they're not walking away without a job. A lot of them are afraid because I am their first and only job, but it's time to fly the nest. It's time to spread your wings, little birdies. But yeah, the things that you brought up are definitely things that have been used in the equation to closing down. It's a lot to think about.
The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, presented in part by Pinnacle Consultants. Whether you're replacing a roof, remodeling a kitchen, or replacing a bathroom, keep it safe, keep it legal. With Pinnacle Consultants, they can inspect your site, collect samples, perform lab analysis, and provide results within about a week. Testing all renovations for mold, asbestos, and lead is the law in West Virginia. Visit pinnaclecorp.net for Pinnacle Consultants, because what you don't know can hurt you. So I want to ask you this before we let you go. You also have another successful line of things you do, the soup mixes. You brought me in sometime last year here. They're absolutely delicious. Is that going to continue? Or?
I'm going to continue with the soup. I'm actually going to try to grow that even more. My goal is to do more tastings in Kroger's and Piggly Wiggly's food fairs. We did a big tasting on Good Friday at the Tamarack, and we had over about 800 samplings, didn't we? So yes, I'm going to grow the soup mix. I'm still going to be heavily involved with Girls Night Out with the YWCA, helping.
So you're going to be around still.
I'm going to be around. I'm going to be around. I'm going to help the symphony with Symphony Sunday. I'm still going to do my philanthropic things that I've always done. I'm still going to be around. I'm not going to be escaping.
And I don't want to put words in your mouth as we close it, but please state for the record, because we lost Tidewater and then we lost Chop House, and then the announcement that you're closing. They had nothing to do with each other.
Nothing to do with that at all.
We don't have a blight over the restaurant industry in Charleston right now, because there's a lot more restaurants now in Charleston than what I remember in the past, and they're all doing pretty dang good.
Yeah, everybody's doing great. It's a great scene here in Charleston. We're a bunch of foodies, and I think it's going to survive if we all just support. And I know the economy's hard right now. People are struggling to even get groceries. That kind of falls into the equation as well. Are you going to go out and spend $50 on a dinner for two, or are you going to go out to the grocer and get those groceries? Right. There's choices people make now. They're hard choices.
With my political candidates, I do something I call the final 30. But I'm with you. I'm going to give you 30 seconds.
Okay.
Just to say thank you, or whatever you want to say to the people of Charleston.
Oh my gosh, you're so kind. Thank you to the people of Charleston, West Virginia, the tri-state area, for coming in, supporting us, bringing your kids in for dinner, bringing your little fur babies, providing me and my staff a living and a means to the next day. It's my cup runneth over to everyone for bringing their hard-earned money to me to spend with the Bridge Road Bistro. And, my entertainment, my live entertainment, those folks have been amazing. The Weekend Warriors, Gary Hayes, the Bandwagon, Brian Diller, all the things, Chet Lowther. I can go on and on and on with all the entertainment that's graced our stage. And I want to thank everyone for supporting us all through the years. 20 years of success story. I just couldn't go out better with on top. Like Jordan, we won 3 years straight best restaurant in Charleston. So thank you, Charleston. Thank you, West Virginia. Thank you, Dave. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Sandy Call. Again, it is from Bridge Road Bistro. We got to take a break. Back after this on the Voice of Charleston, WCHS.
Brought to you by the Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses. Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses care for your family.
We need real conservatives in the House of Delegates. We need Mark Carter in District 57.
Hi, I am Mark Carter. As a conservative lawyer, I am a strong supporter of life, faith, and the Second Amendment.
Mark Carter was appointed to national offices by both President Donald Trump and President George W. Bush. Let's elect a new conservative Republican to the House.
I am Mark Carter, and I would appreciate your vote for House of Delegates.
Paid for by Mark Carter for West Virginia.
The largest indoor playground in West Virginia is ready to host your next group outing. Kiddaroos is this week's 50-50 Friday. At Kiddaroos, they make parties easy and fun for everyone. You bring the balloons and small decorations and leave the food and fun to them. Located in the old Sport Mart near the Patrick Street Bridge. More info at kiddarooswv.com. Friday at 9 a.m. Go to WCHSnetwork.com and click the 50-50 Friday button to get 50% off gift certificates for Kiddaroos, courtesy of the WCHS family of networks.
Dwayne Duncan is a Republican running for Kanawha County Commission. We know that we can trust Republican Dwayne Duncan to deliver for Kanawha County families. Dwayne Duncan wants lower taxes, more jobs, and will fight the crime problem in Kanawha County. Dwayne Duncan is a Republican and proven job creator. Taxes are too high for Kanawha County. Let's vote to keep more of our hard-earned money. Let's vote for Republican Dwayne Duncan for Kanawha County Commission. Paid for by Dwayne Duncan for Kanawha County Commission. Tori Takubo, Treasurer.
We are professional grade. If you're up for the challenge, then you need to visit Thornhill GM Superstore on the Thornhill Motor Mile and get treated like a pro with the best deals on new GMC Sierra trucks and the new 2024 GMC Terrain. Go pro, but don't prolong. Qualified buyers can enjoy 3.9% for 60 months or an additional purchase allowance of up to $2,250 and no payments for 90 days. Get on the move. Go pro with Thornhill GM Superstore on the Thornhill Motor Mile, US 119 Chapmanville, and ThornhillGMSuperstore.com. After GM Financial, visit Thornhill for all details.
Our phone calls to the show, a service of Biggly Piggly Wiggly. Texting service provided by your hometown pharmacy, Fruit Pharmacy. Text said, could the owners and managers and employees of these three businesses, Tidewater, Chop House, and Bridge Road, possibly combine forces to create one large food conglomerate? All three in one building. That would be awesome, like a Tudor's and a Geno's, says a texter. Text says, why is Chris Miller having his son text me to vote for Chris Miller? What a lame move, says a texter. Texter says, add the caveat, can't find workers for our hourly wages, or our quality of workers reflects our hourly wages, says a texter. Folks at Bridge Road Bistro, Tidewater, and Chop House fed Charleston very well for decades, as a texter. Maybe if the folks chose local over Olive Garden, Red Lobster, and Applebee's, they'd still be open. Great point. Actually, she said the business part was not the issue. I mean, they were doing well, but that's still a very fair point from a texter. Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, brought to you by Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm. Text says, Dave, women are in a battle, not just in this country, but the state of West Virginia, for their freedoms being taken away. Vote Steve Williams for governor, says a texter. Texter says, I don't want to hear about the border. I want to hear about the jobs Biden is bringing to the state and how you're going to keep it going after $2 billion to put high-speed internet to the entire state's infrastructure bill, stop the war on women, says a texter. Texter says, should have asked Skaff why he didn't switch before quitting the House to allow a Republican to take the seat. Why did he give it to the Democrats, says a texter. Texter says, Dave, is it true Patriot Front was in town Saturday to protest recent restaurant closures? No. Appreciate the humor, but no, that was not the case. Well, as you know, there are a lot of people running for the Board of Education in Kanawha County. Thanks to a listener for pointing this out to me. There's going to be a candidate forum for the Board of Education candidates held tomorrow starting at 5 at Emmanuel Baptist Church, 1401 West Washington Street. The format is as follows. The meet and greet with the candidates at their tables is from 5 till 6. Then there'll be presentations by the candidates and a Q&A to follow. Information about that posted on my social media pages. 2 days away from early voting here in West Virginia, several spots in Kanawha County. Of course, the Voters Building on Courier Street, also the Cross Lane Sheriff's Department, Bell Town Hall, St. Albans City Hall, the library in Sissonville, the Elkview Community Center, Marmette Town Hall, City of Nitro Police Department, and the Girl Scouts of Black Diamond Council Building on the West End. Putnam County early voting happening at the Courthouse in Winfield and the Valley Park Conference Center. 10 days of early voting, including the next 2 Saturdays, 9 to 5. Information again posted on that on my social media pages. I will close by saying this. We had a good time Saturday night in Morgantown for the West Virginia Broadcaster Association Awards. Great night for the station. Pat ourselves on the back a little bit. WCHS, but as well as Metro News. We killed it, as always, but we couldn't do it without you. Not to get all sappy here, but it amazes me every morning. I'm actually glad to be a part of a team that includes people like Jeff Jenkins, and Carrie, and Chris, and Jarrett, Kat, and of a network front, everybody from Hoppy to Dave Wilson to Brad and the rest of the sports teams as well. But thank you to you, the listeners, for supporting us. We appreciate it. Coming up on tomorrow's show, John Lovejoy from Fresh Air is going to be stopping by. State Democratic Party Chair and Delegate Mike Pushkin and Kent Wilson from Bridge Valley, all on the show tomorrow. Dave Wilson coming up with Talk Line. See you tomorrow. Till then, have fun and love somebody.
WCHS AM 96.5 FM Charleston and 104.5 Cross Lanes.
A WVRC media station.
We're proud to live here too.